This is a picture of the last Italy national team that played at a World Cup. And this is the last Italy national team that played a World Cup knockout game. Yes, quite a lot of things have changed in the last 2 decades. And with sadness in my voice, I really can't see them playing such a competitive game at the tournament next year, even if they manage to qualify through the playoffs. On the other hand, we have the Serie A, undoubtedly the most tightly contested top 5 league in Europe. After a quick check on Transfer Market, it turns out that the Serie A leader has changed an astonishing 4 times in 11 rounds since the start of the 2025-26 season. Inter, Napoli, Milan and Roma. Basically, the current top 4. I don't know how you interpret this, but let me enlighten you. In the other top 5 leagues, there have been a maximum of 2 leaders. In Ligue 1 and the Bundesliga, the situation is clear. In La Liga, Barcelona were top for only the first 2 match days, after which Real Madrid took the baton. While the Premier League comes closest to Serie A in terms of competitiveness, Liverpool were top for the first 5 rounds, after which Arsenal took the lead. So, what is the reason for this? Why does Serie A constantly grab attention and get everyone talking about it as a league worth watching, when the national team seems allergic to World Cups and is on the verge of monumental failure for the 3rd consecutive time? Let's break it down in 5 steps, starting with Reason 1. Talent pipeline and youth development. Now, the obvious reason number 1 are the footballers playing for the teams at a club level and those representing the national team. The difference is huge, right? This is mainly because the majority of those teams are made up of foreign players. Realistically, Inter Milan is the only team with a strong Italian contingent. Barella, Bastoni, Di Marco and the incoming talent Pio Esposito all played crucial roles in the national team over the last couple of months, and the first 3 of them are some of the few leaders of the Squadra Azzurra. The other top teams in Serie A have no more than 2 or 3 nationals, and they're not the same solid names, but rather players who are just beginning their path for the national team. Take AC Milan for example. For many years, they've been the main supplier for the Squadra Azzurra. In the 1990s, for instance, the defence became notorious because the 4 players who started at the back for Italy were the same ones who played for the Rossoneri: Maldini, Costacurta, Baresi and Tassotti. The situation is completely different right now, as Milan realistically only has 2 Italian players, Matteo Gabbia and Samuel Ricci, who appeared for a total of 4 minutes in the 2 qualifiers against Moldova and Norway in November. The situation with Juventus, Napoli and Roma is exactly the same. This means that when Serie A clubs rely so heavily on foreign players, young Italian talent doesn't always get a chance to shine. According to recent FIGC data, under-21 Italian players are barely getting any playing time. A 2025 report that gathered info from the 2023-24 season, only 2.3% of minutes in Serie A are played by homegrown young players who were trained in the club's own youth system. The FIGC report says the playing time of Italian under-21 players accounts for just 2.3% of the total, compared to 34.4% for Italian over-21 players and 60.8% for foreign over-21 players. And that leads us to reason number 2, which nobody talks about nearly enough. Reason 2. The diminished role of the ST. This is another very important issue for Italian football as a whole, not just the national team. Let's start with last season's 24-25 goal-scoring charts. 3 of the top 4 goal scorers last season, Matteo Retegui, Moise Kean and Riccardo Orsolini, currently play for the national team. Last term, everyone thought at least one of them will be able to form an era for the national team, scoring when it matters the most, compared with the previous season, when foreigners like Lautaro Martinez, Osimhen, Vlahovic and Cristiano Ronaldo were constantly among the top 3. 2024-25 gave Italian fans hope that the era without a world-class striker for the national team was finally over. The key phrase here is for the national team, because we all remember Ciro Immobile's scoring rate, but he never managed to replicate that form with the Squadra Azzurra. But we've seen nothing of the sort. Retegui, Kean and Orsolini have all been poor shadows of themselves for Italy, and the problems have actually got worse this season. I don't know how to describe this, but it's really not okay for a league when a defensive midfielder is the leading goal scorer with 1/3 of the season already played. Hakan Çalhanoğlu deserves credit, but the lack of class Italian strikers is really hurting the national team. And if we get back to those intriguing data from FIGC, The quote about young players not being played enough in Serie A continues like that. The data is particularly relevant in the role of striker. Goals scored by Italian under-21 strikers account for less than 1%, while those scored by foreign over-21 players account for 71.2%. Less than 1%, guys. That's disgraceful, really. Reason 3. Financial and structural issues. Another major problem is money. Serie A clubs are losing hundreds of millions of euros every year, which is hurting their ability to plan for the future, particularly with regard to supporting the national team. One major culprit is illegal streaming. According to Serie A's CEO Luigi De Siervo, piracy costs the league around 300 million euros per year, as people watch games on pirate sites instead of paying for official broadcasts. This lost revenue is significant. It should be invested in youth programs, training facilities and long-term development. Without it, clubs have less to invest in young Italian talent. Then there's the issue of stadiums. Many Serie A clubs play in outdated stadiums that don't generate much matchday income. Guys, hear me out. I went to the Stadio Diego Maradona this summer and it was awful. A couple of years ago, even the owner of Napoli, Aurelio De Laurentiis, stated, "I would rather pay for Napoli fans to travel to Bari's Stadio San Nicola for Champions League matches than continue playing at the San Paolo. It's a dump." Of course, he did not take such drastic measures, but it's a fact that the Stadio Diego Maradona is becoming increasingly unpopular with fans each year. And this is the stadium of the Italian champions. Come on! Compared to Anfield, the Allianz Arena, the Parc des Princes and the Camp Nou, where Barcelona returned to play a couple of days ago, is not even in the same league. The stadium of the current Italian champion versus the champions from the other top 5 leagues. Reason 4. Tactical and physical evolution. In past golden years, think Italy in 2006 and their 2021 Euros run, the Azzurri succeeded because they struck a near perfect balance. Under coaches like Marcello Lippi, Italy relied on structure, intelligence and quick transitions. Lippi set up a disciplined system, often a 4-4-2 formation, but added fluidity. When defending, Italy stayed compact, man-marked effectively and looked for press traps. When they won the ball back, they didn't waste time. They countered aggressively, overloaded the central zones and exploited gaps with their fast players. In attack, Andrea Pirlo dropped between the centre-backs to initiate moves, while Gennaro Gattuso and other hard-working midfielders protected him, providing Italy with a foundation that was both creative and solid. Fast forward to today, however, and Gattuso is probably seen more as a villain than a hero, unlike 19 years ago. His Italy is very different. He's brought energy, verticality and a more direct approach. His idea is to break lines quickly, hit forward more often and use his attackers in tight, aggressive spaces. However, this style comes with trade-offs. While this aggressive attacking football helps Italy dominate weaker opponents and could be enough to qualify for the World Cup, it may not stand the test of time in the crucible of a major tournament. I mean, just look at his results. Since Gattuso took over, Italy have played 6 games. They won 2 against Estonia, 1 against Moldova and 2 against Israel, one of which was one of the craziest games they've played in recent years. They also lost to Norway. Just naming the teams makes me wonder how they could fail to qualify for the World Cup in a group like that, even with Haaland in top form. Reason 5. Decline of international mentality and big game experience. Look, just as the boys from Italian Football TV said it concisely,
if we go to another World Cup, even if we do go to another World Cup, it's a band-aid on the problem that we have.
It's certain that Italy can beat teams like Northern Ireland, Bosnia or Wales with the players they have. That's beyond doubt, and I'm also fairly confident that this will happen. But even if they make it there, can they beat Argentina? Can they beat Spain, England or France? Or even lower ranked nations with a lot of talent, such as the Netherlands, Senegal or Croatia? We could see yet another disastrous group stage exit. So my point is that qualification would merely postpone the problems in Italian football that we've already discussed. And they can be fixed for the future, but for now, it's clear that at least 60% of the current Italy national team lacks big game experience. Yes, Serie A may be an intense, dramatic league with a lot of quality, but the national team is lacking in mindset and high-level leadership. If that doesn't change, Italy may qualify, but it's hard to believe they'll truly contend on the biggest stage. The struggle is real, but it is what it is. These were the 5 reasons why there's such a big gap between the national team and Serie A. That's not all, however, because Spalletti was recently appointed at Juve, and you can watch a similar video on the channel which discusses the 5 things he'll change in the long run. See you there.